Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for the 23rd of October. We'll mainly look at the S&P, but we'll have a quick look at the NASDAQ as well. So with the S&P here, as you may know, we're looking at expanded flat of wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, expanded flat. And then we're looking for wave 1 to the upside. You may know that we're looking at this as the top of wave 3 here with wave 4 here, and we could possibly move up to the 3-8 area there based on a Fibonacci extension of this high to this low here. We'll be looking at the 1618, but as always we will just track the wave structure as we move up. Once we have moved up and we've created the 5-wave sequence in this move here, and we've got our top in play, then we'll be looking for an ABC correction for wave 2. Now, it doesn't have to pull down to the 61.8%, but we'll just leave it there for the time being. And once again, wave 2 will always be a zigzag. So 5 waves, 3 waves, and 5 waves. So wherever that ends up, that's where we'll end up as well. So a 5-3-5 structure zigzag for wave 2. Now the other point is too, we still need to confirm this wave 2 as well, because there is a possibility that this wave 5 here, from wave 4 to wave 5 here, could be in place here, and that's the end of the trend and would come much lower at that point. So it's something that we need to bear in mind. It's something we need to work through. But for today, we're going to look from this low to where we are within this 5-wave impulse structure here. So let's check it out and then move into the intraday. So from the low here of wave 4 all the way up to wave 1 or wave 5, we're looking at 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 1 and 2, and then going up into the 3rd wave here. So let's go in and pick this up here on the 4-hour chart for this. So from the 4-hour chart here, we've been looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 2. And we've really taken this from the NASDAQ point of view as well. So the NASDAQ point of view never made a new high here for this. It just came down as an A and a B and a C wave here for that. So we've mirrored that. And we're looking at this here as wave 1 with an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 2 now that it's finished. And from wave B, we've got 1 and 2 and 3, complicated 4 and down for 5 here. So we're on our way up here now, so we'll be taking out these highs here. We do need to talk of alternative counts as well while we're here. So before we dive in here and take a closer look at this, then we've been looking at, well, because there's 3 waves here, it means that it can be completed here and we just can move straight up here. But it also means too, because we've got 3 waves here, we could also look at wave B here as well in 3 waves. So an A and a B and a C wave here for wave B, and then going down for wave C here. So that's not really off the table just yet either. And also too, if we go and have a look at where are we here? So in this one here, so that alternative count here as wave A here, an A and a B and a C for wave B here, and then 5 waves down here for wave C. That's what we're talking about at this point. It's not off the cards yet, because we would have to move, for this one to be null and void, we would need to see this move here come up past the 61.8% of that top to that low there. So we would want to see it way up here. Then we can rule that out. We've got another count, as you know, that's on our website, which is an A wave, a B wave, a C wave here in 3, 3 in D, and 3 in E, and then further up from that point of view there. But there's not going to be, this is not going to be a lot of difference from the market just going straight up from here anyway. We'll be able to work with that. So the bias, once we've got this top and this low here, once we're above the 61.8%, then we can rule out this one, and then we can be pretty much sort of bullish from that point onwards, but we need to get there first. Okay, so let's go to the hourly chart here. So looking at, assuming this is wave 1 here. We've got the A wave here, the B wave here, and then we've got the C wave down here for wave 2. So in that case, we're looking at 1 and 2 and 3 here. And I've got wave 4 over here, but I know that it can also be counted differently as well, with wave 5 moving down into the new low in this space. So this is complicated. It can work in a couple of different ways. It doesn't really matter. We've still got the new low that we were looking for in that case. I'll bring across the NASDAQ because we're looking at the S&P 1 hour chart here, and we'll look at the NASI 100 on the 1 hour chart as well. So from the top here as wave 1, we've been looking down for the A wave, the B wave here, and once again wave 1 and 2, and wave 3 here really sticks out because it's the longest through here. But once again, you can see that this is all complicated across here as well. So there's different ways to count that. There's 2 different ways, but I won't go into that. It doesn't matter because from this wave 3 low here, we've had some sort of rally, and we've also made the low here as well. So there's a case here now that that we can also move up through here as well. Of course, this is a lot of resistance here, and in terms of the trading levels, we were looking for a move down to the 11,500, but don't forget the NASDAQ comp at these lows here was already sitting on 11,500, so it has made an effort to get down there, so that's good. This is all of group 2 here. I call it 65, 72 and 80, but it's 11,650, 11,720 and 11,800. It would be really satisfying to see this market sitting on support at 11,720. I mean, even 11,700 would be nice, because obviously the supply here, supply just means sellers. So to have that as support, it means that we've overwhelmed that supply, and we can move up from that point. We can also look to be long on that space, and also look to add on this space here as well. And we'll continue. You can continue to keep building. You could also add on a nice tested support of 11,650. So if I can just go to I'm just going to go to a 100 tick chart on the NASI here. So this is the 11,650 here. So while we're talking here, we can look to pretty much go long above this level here. We could also go long above this level here. If this market pulls down here as the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level here, and looking for an ABC pattern here, and then moving up, that's fine. And we may be able to get a better position down here. But otherwise, taking these tops out here would suffice, and then we've got the 11,720 here, or the 11,700 would be fine as well at that point. I won't look at stocks today. We were looking at Thursday being the bear day, so to speak, and finishing off that trend, and then Friday and Monday being bullish, and we've had Nancy negotiating with the other dudes, and they've made a bit of headway, as you know. I haven't just really woken up in Aussie land, but it's a positive step forward to a point. So yeah, so the S&P here. So we can just go in and take a look at this, but before we do, I was thinking that we could look at this as basically wave 1 up to here, and wave 2 coming into this space, and then pushing up from that point. We've always really talked about the 35 becoming the support, and we don't have that yet, but that's okay. We could also there's lots of other little spaces that we can build trades in if you haven't already. Let's just go to the tick chart and look at that for a moment. Just bring in a bit more data. So yeah, okay, well, from wave B here, I was looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and all the way down for 3 here, and A, B, C, D, and E here for wave 4, and then down for wave 5. Didn't really finish off in here very well in here, but I'm going to assume we can call this wave 1, with wave 2 being swift and sharp, and then looking at this little move coming up through here. If I'd woken up earlier, well, I would have looked at being long on as hindsight, but I think there's a few lessons in hindsight. I would have been long at this point, based on top of group 1 here. And I also would have been long here as well, but I would have been stopped out when that low had been taken out here as hindsight as well. So that would have been a failed trade. And this one, an entry here, and this one here. I'm long just a little bit further up here, and I'll continue to build into this once I get into group 2 here. But from this low here, we could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 up here, with little 5 waves moving in up here. So we could pull back to here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, pulling back into here. I can't draw on this side of the tick chart. I can only draw on this from the price. I can draw on this side, the left, but not the right on the tick chart anyway. So we could look for wave 4 here, but this would also give us another setup here on the midpoint. So from 3400 to 3500, we've got the sub levels. So 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8, the Fibonacci numbers as a price ratio. This is all called group 1, 1, 2 and 3, the midpoint, and 65, 72 and 80 make up group 2. So we're breaking the problem down into solutions in terms of 3 areas. Group 1, the midpoint, and group 2 here. So as each one becomes support, we can look to add on that, and we look for certain patterns on these levels, as you may know. If these highs get taken out here and it doesn't pull back here for whatever reasons, then we can also go long there. We can build in on the 72 here as the tested support as well. And then we also want to build in on the 35 here once we get a classic trading levels pattern sitting there as well. So we're looking at this in terms of wave 1 and 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the third wave, fourth wave here, so that will give us our corrective pattern within group 2 here, as we normally get, and then up for wave 5 of wave 1, and then we'll be looking for the A, the B, and the C wave here. So that should just come back into group 2 here. So when we're talking about 35 here, if everything's going to be sort of rosy, I'll just draw over this side, group 1 here and group 2 here, that should be the swing range for wave 1 and 2 before we move higher at that point. Okay. So we look for a classic trading levels pattern sitting on there, hopefully, and that would look like this here. So if this is the 3500, we'll have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, ABC correction, and then look for support over this point here. The main takeaway here is that if you get a reaction here, then you'll be looking for the first high above the level. And this reference point is really important because the market could just come back down to here and then take off again. So you need to be long at that point. And then if it creates a second high, then that gives you a second opportunity to move in. And if it moves down here, if you can count this here as 5-3-5 structure in this case, well then, and that may pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, which will also be in group 2 as well, 65, 72 and 80 of 34, 65, 72 and 80. That support should come in around here, and then pushing up and adding. So you can add into this space all through here, on here, and then also if this is 3500 here, then you've got group 1 above that, which will be 1, 2 and 3, 10, 20 and 30, 35, 10, 35, 20, 35, 30, and then the midpoint 50 would be up here. These are all places that you can add to as support, as a tested support. What that means is that you can manage your risk better at that point in time as well. You'll know where to put your stop. That's the idea of it. Rightio. So just recapping a little bit on the 4-hour chart, perhaps. Maybe just the, well, I mean, it's kind of interesting really in that you know, if we start looking at targets and where we're going to be at this point, if this count is correct of wave 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, and we don't know that yet, but once we get 35 as support, and we're thinking, well, where can we get out at this point? Well, we could be way up here at the 38, as I mentioned before. So it's kind of up into this space, making new highs here that we'll be looking to trade to. There is the little catch of the triangle pattern, as I mentioned before. So the triangle pattern will be up here in 3 waves and then back in 3 waves. But we should be able to accommodate that if that's going to be the case. We'll just see how we travel with this. We need to work it. So we put this video out every day, so you should be able to. We should be able to work through it nice and tidy. Just see if there's anything else I've missed here. Well, just to sum things up a little bit as well, is that first of all, before we get too excited about things, we need to see this impulse wave up to 35 or close to it. We need to see that up at that height. This $61.8 there. So that brings us, let's just clean this up a little bit. That's where the first resistance is going to be. And the second resistance is really going to be in here, just a little bit further up. It's just good to know where they are. So that's, push that from that side to that side. Well, we expect that at 35 anyway, so it's not like such a big deal, but it's kind of nice to know that they're there. You know, we did the same coming down through here, and we could see that, you know, we've had this one and this one and this one here that never quite got to where we want. I was thinking of the 3400, didn't quite get there. But yeah, look, that's where the trouble is in town here, and we need to be on that support of 35. So building smaller trades into here, and then larger trades through 35, 35, 10, 20, and 30 at that point. Alrighty, look, let's just see how we travel. Let's see if Friday's got a bit of grunt in it and pushes higher at this point. But these are the trouble spots, so we don't want to be overextended in our positions and our risk at these points. This is where we can stack it on this side over here. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.